Imagine coming home as a success story. You've spent years abroad, working hard, saving every euro you could earn. You've sacrificed time with family, endured lonely winters in foreign cities, and delayed every pleasure for a single goal: financial security. And then, finally, you board that plane home with 400,000 euros in your account. Not theoretical wealth, real money. Enough to retire, enough to build something meaningful, enough, you believe, to never worry again. If this story resonates with you, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next, because what unfolds over the next 10 years isn't what he expected at all. He arrives on a Wednesday evening. The airport is exactly as he remembered it, but he feels different now. He's wearing better clothes than anyone there. His shoes cost more than some people's monthly salary. The leather suitcase he carries is expensive and new. As he walks through arrivals, he's thinking about the numbers. 400,000 euros. He's already done the math 100 times. Converted to local currency, it's a fortune. A life fortune. He imagines the house he'll build. He imagines the respect he'll command. He imagines never again feeling the pressure of money. His family is waiting outside the terminal. His mother is there, his father standing beside her with his hands clasped in front of him. There are siblings, cousins, aunts who somehow heard he was coming home. The embrace lasts longer than he expected. His mother cries. His father grips his shoulder hard enough to hurt. In that moment, standing in the golden evening light with his family surrounding him, he feels like the hero of a story that's just beginning. He has no idea that this is actually the moment when the ending begins. That first night, they prepare a feast. Food appears that he hasn't eaten in years. His mother cooked his favorite dishes. The table is crowded. Extended family sits elbow to elbow, passing plates, asking him questions about Europe, about the money, about what comes next. No one asks directly, but the question hangs in the air anyway. What will you do with it? Everyone at that table can feel the presence of those 400,000 euros like it's a physical thing, like it's sitting at the table with them too. He sleeps well that first night, better than he has in years. The next morning, his father takes him aside. There's a piece of family land, his father explains. It's been in the family for 2 generations. It's a good location, good soil. A neighbor has been eyeing it for years. Now that he's back with capital, now that he's successful, maybe it's time to develop it properly. Build something the family can be proud of. His father isn't asking for money. He's presenting an opportunity, an investment, a chance to leave a legacy. Within a week, he's met with a real estate agent. The agent is professional, well-dressed, and very interested in helping a returning migrant invest his wealth. The agent shows him property listings on a tablet, construction sites, residential developments, commercial potential. The agent explains that property values are rising, that this is the time to invest, that real estate is the safest place to put money. He finds himself nodding. It makes sense. It's concrete. It's something you can see and touch. It's not sitting in a bank account slowly earning nothing. He decides to develop his father's land. The contractor is confident and experienced, or at least he seems that way. They discuss plans. He envisions a nice house for his parents, maybe 2 apartments for rental income. The contractor explains that costs are always higher than expected, that he'll need to budget for unexpected expenses. Permits take time and money. Labor costs more than you'd think. But the contractor knows people who can expedite things. These people take unofficial fees, but it's how things get done. The construction begins. He visits the site frequently at first. The concrete foundation is poured. The walls start rising. He brings his friends to see it. He brings his cousins. Everyone agrees it's impressive. Everyone agrees he's made a smart choice. He feels proud. He feels like he's doing something real, something that will outlast him. He doesn't yet notice that this is the moment the money starts moving in earnest. The foundation alone cost more than he anticipated. But now his status is changing. He's no longer just the relative who went abroad. He's the successful migrant who's investing in property. He's the one with capital, which means he's also the one who can help. His cousin's business needs a small boost. Not a gift, he clarifies, a loan. He'll repay it. He just needs cash flow to get through the next quarter. His brother mentions that he'd like to buy a car, but the bank won't give him a loan because his income isn't stable enough. But his brother would pay him back. Family interest rates, much better than the bank. His uncle has an idea for an import business. He just needs initial capital for the first shipment. Each request comes with a story. Each story is reasonable. Each person has a plan. Each person promises repayment. He's not giving the money away, he tells himself. He's lending it. He's helping family while also earning returns. It's a win for everyone. Except the repayments start slowly. Very slowly. His cousin's business takes longer to turn profitable than expected. His brother's car payments are irregular. His uncle's first shipment didn't sell as well as projected. But they'll pay eventually. They're family. Of course they'll pay. Meanwhile, there's a new expectation forming around him. He's the one who can afford things. When the family gathers, he's the one who should pay for drinks. When someone needs help with school fees, they think of him. His old friends from before he left recognize him on the street and suddenly want to reconnect. They invite him to dinners and clubs. At first he's hesitant. But these are his friends. These are people he's known since childhood. And he's successful now. He can afford it. So he starts going out. The nightclubs here are nothing like the humble bars in the European city he came from. There's music and beautiful people, and the sense that everyone's watching to see how much he's willing to spend. He buys bottles. Expensive bottles. The club owner recognizes him and starts offering him VIP tables. He's the man who came back. The man with money. The man with European success. It feels good. It feels like validation. He doesn't think about the math. He just thinks about how good it feels to be admired. His mother starts mentioning his clothes. She says he should invest in a good tailor. Someone really skilled who can make suits from the finest fabrics. She doesn't say it's for show. She frames it as self-respect. A successful man should dress the part. So he finds the best tailor in the city. The tailor is an artist. He brings out bolts of fabric that cost more per meter than weekly wages. Italian silk, Swiss cotton, German wool. The tailor measures him carefully and discusses colors and cuts. The man who went abroad and came back successful should look the part. He orders 5 suits. Then he orders casual wear. Then he orders shoes from a shoemaker who works with the tailor. He's still thinking about the property development, but now it's expanded. His father mentions that maybe they should build something better, something more impressive, something that shows what he's achieved. The original plans seem modest now. Why not make it larger? Why not include modern finishes? Why not create something that announces success to everyone who passes by? The contractor supports this enthusiastically. Of course he does. It means more work, more materials, more cost. The budget increases. Then it increases again. He opens a business. Or rather, a friend approaches him with a business opportunity. A small store selling imported goods. European items that are hard to find locally. Premium goods that people with money want to buy. The friend already has customers ready. He just needs the capital to stock the inventory. It's a can't-miss opportunity. The returns will be quick. So he funds it. The store opens. It looks impressive. The grand opening is well attended, but sales are slower than expected. People admire the products, but they're expensive. People with the money to buy premium imports are few. The inventory sits there, slowly becoming outdated. But by now, there's another layer to all of this. People have started calling him for things he never expected. A government official comes by. There's a project for community development. If he contributes, his name will be on it. His legacy. The official doesn't quite demand anything, but the implication is clear. Contributing is the right thing to do. So he contributes. Then there's a school in his neighborhood that needs renovation. The headmaster visits him. The school taught him. Now he can give back.